Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. I'm trying to wonder if Karl Jobst has any real friends. You know, it's a sad state of affairs when his detractors, or people that criticize him, give him better advice than the people that he associates with on the internet. Excuse me here. They are still gassing him up. You know, this guy reminds me of that one friend that gets into a fist fight and just gets the snot beat out of him, right? By somebody that clearly knows how to fight. They clearly don't know how to fight, and they still want to keep on talking smack. They're on the ground, knocked out, talking about, I'm going to get you next time. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is not your thing. Guys, there's a little bit of delusion here going on. You know, from what I've heard, he's actually said on Discord that he doesn't listen to lawyers when writing or run his scripts by lawyers because they'll tell you to say nothing. That's right, because they don't want you to lose 1 million plus like you just did, taking the biggest L, if not one of the biggest L's in YouTube history. Because lawyers, like your friends, tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. But what Karl has is a bunch of people gassing him up, telling him you can do it. You wouldn't tell that to your friend. If I have a friend that just got the snot beat out of him, I'm not telling him to get up and go for another round. I'm trying to protect him. You know, and clearly he's delusional right now. He's drinking his own Kool-Aid because he thinks that a video that he's going to make is going to turn everything around. For his YouTube channel, for his career, whatever. That holds more priority to him than actually doing probably what's best for his family. A friend would be telling him what his critics are telling him, what I'm telling him, what people have been telling him from the beginning. Guys, this narrative was so skewed that when I started making videos, just like everybody else, I thought this was about video game scores. And I said back then, this is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense, because when you go to court, right, and you face people that are not video game enthusiasts, and they realize that you're in court for video games, it's absolutely nuts. Turns out that it was never about that, right? I found out following the trial, right? But if you were out there just listening to his videos, you would have thought that this was just about video game scores. So let's just take that at face value. Let's say you are his friend and you're encouraging him to go to court for video game scores. First of all, the way people look at you, because you're in actual court arguing over video game scores, puts you in another reality, at least for them. They think you're nuts. They think you're nuts wasting money on this stuff. Turns out it wasn't that. Turns out that it's about something else. The ironic part here is that the victim in this case actually blamed his friends, one of them who made a video where he's credited. So I don't know if this was projection. So much hatred for Billymitchell, trying to blame him for this guy's demise, when in actuality it was his pals that were named by the victim before he did what he did. So he actually was more tied into it than Billy ever was, because he didn't give him anything, right? All he had to do is not make videos anymore. And which is what he should be doing right now, which is what people should be telling him right now. Stop talking. You took the L. Stop punching. You got knocked out, boy. You got the snot beat out of you. This is not your thing. You got to do what's best for your family. But people are on the internet, they're gassing him up. Oh, it was the judge's fault. He's saying it was the judge's fault. It wasn't. It was your fault. It was your fault for not being clear with the public. It was your fault for picking the lawyers that you picked. It was your fault for not realizing reality, for not settling the case. It was your fault for offering $3,000, apparently, according to Billy's lawyers, which is not even, a decent plane ticket to Australia. Forget about the other expenses. That's not a real settlement. If they're asking you for 50, right? But you couldn't settle the case because you're Karl Jobst. You couldn't do what's best for your family. And back then I was saying, just get rid of it. And at that point, you could just talk to Billy and said, what do you want me to do? Make an apology, whatever it is, apology video, statement, whatever you want. Let's make this thing go away. No, he was going to stand there till the end because he was getting gassed up by everybody on the internet that he was this savior of humanity against Billymitchell, and look where it landed him now. And people are still gassing him up. I mean, how many millions of dollars does this man need to lose for these people to be happy? They don't care. Once they're done with him, once he's completely bankrupt and destitute, they're just going to move on to the next sucker and gas him up. What he should be doing is not wasting any more money. And this is just my humble opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but this is what I would do in his position, or this is what I would tell my friend, dude, talk to Billy. He's negotiated with people before. You're the only one who went through it all. And guess what? You lost. Does Billymitchell need your money? He doesn't. He doesn't. He'd probably cut you a deal of some sort. He's going to make you eat crow. But eating crow and maybe destroying your YouTube career, is that worth your kid's college fund? I would do it in a second. I would absolutely do it in a second for my family. I would do whatever I would have to do. I wouldn't be sitting here making more videos, trying to go, making these appeals, just making it worse, spending more money that I don't have to impress people that I don't know. That is the tragedy of this man. Doesn't he have any real friends to sit him down and just saying, dude, you are spending money literally that you don't have to impress people on the internet that you don't know? Those people are just going to go lower. The Patreon's just going to go lower. The viewers are just going to go lower. Hopefully you can rebuild, but not this way, not at the expense of your future. So where are these guys? Where is his real friends? That's my point of contention. Who's out there telling him, dude, this is not the way? Apparently it's not his lawyer, because his lawyer let him talk up a storm, right? Let him talk himself out of a case, right? Let him talk himself out of anything that could have been a concession in the trial where he would have been even just a little bit less liable for what he did. No. He went on talking and he got himself in a pickle, right? It was his own words used against him in order to maximize Billy's victory. And what is his solution? Make another video. Nobody's telling him, dude, stop. Bro, stop. Take the L. At this point, we need to stop the bleeding. At this point, we just need to stop it. It's not going to get any better. Do what's best for the family. No. He's going to do what's best for YouTube. And I think it's really sad that there's nobody out there telling him, bro, let it go. You lost this one. Sit down, talk to Billy, do what you have to do so he doesn't put this huge yoke of $1 million around your neck, and keep it moving. Do something else. Your family is absolutely worth it. People on YouTube impressing people on the internet with money that you don't have is absolutely insane. But it looks like that's what he's going to do. To me, it's just sad. And if you're really a supporter of this guy, if you're really a friend to anybody, you need to tell them what they need to know, not what they want to hear. All right, humans, I will catch you on the next one. Take care.